Dan Cabrera and Megan Holtz. Dan is our multimedia coordinator in the Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning. He has extensive experience teaching in higher education and has been working with multimedia for a number of years. And he also provides Blackboard support, instructional support for pedagogical questions, and teaches in higher education. And Megan Holtz has extensive experience in higher education teaching as well. She serves as the instructional support coordinator in the Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning and provides support for Blackboard, for a variety of tech tools, for pedagogy, and many different services that the center provides to NIU. Please join me in welcoming Dan Cabrera and Megan Holtz by sharing an emoji in the chat, and we will get started with their session on editing. Go ahead, Megan and Dan.
Hello, this is Dan Cabrera, but it should be Megan and Dan because Megan actually is starting the session. Go ahead, Megan.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thanks, Yvonne. I appreciate it. So everyone, welcome to Simple Editing features for Kaltura videos. I know that Michael Strunk led you through how to upload some video content, so hopefully you'll get some hands-on experience with this. We're going to talk about a couple of different things that we have going on today with Kaltura videos. There's actually 3 layers of edits that we can do. So you can actually edit the video content, and that's what I'm going to start us off with. So with the video content, you can fade in and out of a video. You can do a splice, and you can also crop the ends of the video. So I will actually give live demonstrations of that. From there, you can also edit the captions, and then you can edit the video information, which would include the title, the tags, and the description. Now, one of the things that I have learned personally from working with Kaltura is you really want to stick to this order. I found that you will be saving multiple editions of your video each time you create an edit, and you don't want to have to go back and redo your work. And so I will explain what this means, and I'll show you examples of this as we dive into it. Before we get to the live demonstration piece, though, I thought I would start us off with a quick poll. So if you give me just a moment here, you should see something pull up in your screen. All right, so I'm just curious, are you using Kaltura for any of your video needs for fall? So yes, no, or you're working on it. I know we have so many people from so many different departments. This kind of gives me a feel for where everybody's at with it and their level of comfort. So I see a few no's, that's okay. But it looks like a lot of you have already definitively decided yes, or there are some of you who are working on it and it's in progress. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to switch gears here, and I'm going to share my screen with you so you can actually see how to edit Kaltura. I think as Michael Strunk had mentioned in our previous session, there are multiple ways to get to your Kaltura videos. I personally find that the easiest way to navigate to it is just to log in through Blackboard. So that's what I'm going to demonstrate for us. Okay, so again, for anybody who's new to the session, if you've never used Kaltura before, you can just log into Blackboard, and you're going to go over to Tools, and then you will see Kaltura My Media, and this is going to take you to your personal media library. The first time you log in, it will be blank because you have not added any of your video content, but I promise you will rapidly accrue lots of video content to work with. So as you can see, I have more video content than I know what to do with. We received a lot of great feedback in that last session, and so before I talk about the editing piece, I do just want to briefly cover the different ways that you can add video content so that you have something to work with. The idea here is that after the session, you can go out and test this out on your own. So when you enter Kaltura, there is a blue Add New button at the top of the page. And you'll click on this, and you're going to see a variety of different options for how you can upload media. One option is the media upload. This allows you to add videos that you may have already created previously. This could be something like a recorded PowerPoint. It could be something like a video that you took on your cell phone. So pretty much any type of video that you already have, you can add it to your Kaltura library. And of course, the benefit to this is you will have basic editing rights and enhanced sharing privileges. Now, if you don't have any video content, that's all right. Kaltura is great for generating new video content. One of these that I recommend is called Express Capture. If you're a novice at creating videos, then I think Express Capture is going to appeal to you. The emphasis here is on Express. These videos should be about 5 minutes or under. When you click on Express Capture, all that it's going to use is your microphone and your webcam. So if you have a laptop, it's just going to use the built-in equipment. I like to think of it as the selfie of videos. So it's very user-friendly, and it's a great way to introduce yourself to your students. It'll give them a visual of what you look like. They'll get to hear your voice. So it really personalizes your course. We also have something called a YouTube index, and we received so much feedback on this. I will briefly demonstrate this one for you. A YouTube index allows you to borrow a public video that is on YouTube. And the nice part about this is it takes out all of the commercials and advertisements that we typically see when we click on a YouTube video. So you can then insert a YouTube video into your course, and your students will have an uninterrupted viewing experience. Right? They're not going to get any commercials for shampoo or anything halfway through. So that's the beauty of YouTube. But I do want to caution you, we're really just borrowing the video. It's not ours. We don't have ownership privileges. So this is the one type of media that you would not be able to edit. And I will show you briefly what this looks like, just because we had so many questions. All right. If you click on the YouTube index, it takes you to this page, and it's asking you for a URL. As you can see, I already have YouTube open in another tab here. So we're just going to find a video. Okay. I'm going to copy the URL. Paste it in here, and we're going to click preview. All right. It's pretty much instantaneous. Now I have the option here to change the title of the video or the description. I can add tags to it. This is all something that Dan will show you more in depth in just a little bit here. And if I change this, it will only change it for the video that's in my library, or if I share it with my students. It does not change the title of the video on YouTube or anything like that, because again, we're just borrowing it. All right, it's already been saved. And if I go back to my media library, there it is right at the top. So that's a YouTube index. Some other options that we have are Kaltura Capture. Kaltura Capture is a screencasting tool. So if you ever use Screencast-O-Matic or Screencastify, you will notice that Kaltura Capture is very similar. Kaltura Capture is great for recording any type of document that you could possibly open on your computer. It could be an Excel spreadsheet, a Word document, but really you can share anything that you're looking at on your computer screen with your students. So if you wanted to share a web page and narrate that for them, you could do that as well. It has 2 video feeds, and they're optional, so you could use both, one or none, I suppose. One video feed will be trained on your computer screen, so whatever you're looking at, your students will see. The second video feed is a video that's trained on you, so that your students can actually see your face. If you don't want that, you can turn it off. By default, it is set to on, so you'll just want to make sure to shut off that other video. And of course, it uses your audio, so you can narrate your videos. Kaltura Capture, if you're a little bit confused why you would use it, if you think in a face-to-face classroom of how you would pull something up with an overhead projector, Kaltura Capture kind of simulates that same experience. Right? Your students can see whatever it is that you are looking at. They can hear your voice talking about it, narrating it, explaining its importance. But as they would in a face-to-face classroom, they can turn around and they can see you. Okay. So I think that covers all of the main ways that you can add video content to Kaltura. So now we get to actually dive into the part where we're going to start editing it. And I'll start us off with how to actually edit the video content itself. Let me scroll down and find some sort of a junk video. Okay. As you can see, I have a lot and should probably start deleting something. If you were able to attend this morning's lecture with Michael Wesch, you'll notice that he talked about just trying to keep your videos really accessible, try to make them friendly to your students. You don't need to worry about setting this up like it's a professional video. So Kaltura's editing features are all very basic functions. It's nothing fancy, but they are user-friendly. So,
Megan, this is Dan. We had a
yes.
question about whether there was a limit to how long a video in Kaltura would be allowed. I mean, what's the maximum length of time?
Well, that's an excellent question. So for Express Capture, you really do want to keep it 5 minutes or under. And then as far as Kaltura Capture goes, there's really not a time limit on it. But with that being said, we do recommend that you try to keep your videos 15 minutes or under. And there's a couple of good reasons for that. So the first reason is if you are recording a video, if anything happens, you could lose all of your material. And this has actually happened. We did have an instructor who I think was on minute 59 of an hour-long lecture that she was recording, and the power went out. So you can imagine how frustrated she was when she had just recorded an hour-long lecture and she had to start from scratch. The other reason behind this is the way that students engage with their videos from a home or a remote location. It's not the same experience as actually getting up and going to sit in a physical classroom. Now, I'm not saying that you should take an hour-long lecture and try to cram it into 15 minutes. I'm simply suggesting that you might want to take your hour-long lecture and divide it up into 15-minute increments. So students will oftentimes become distracted, and understandably so. They might have to walk away. They might have other people in the house with them. This is not, a traditional classroom experience for them. So if you offer them videos in shorter increments, they're more likely to stay tuned into it, watch the duration of it, then they can go and do those other activities, and by the time they come back, they're ready to watch their next segment. So I hope that answered the question. Okay. Here we go. Here is some sort of a video that I have in here. I don't know. I have a lot of junk videos, so we're just going to go with this one. Okay. Once you have a video in your library, and again, it can be anything that you uploaded or recorded, you can then edit it. So I'm just going to click on the title, and we're going to scroll down, and there should be an Actions tab here. Okay. You have some different functions. You do have to make sure to click on the video title itself before you can get to the editing piece. And we're going to go to Launch Editor. Okay. So again, I think I mentioned earlier, there are 3 different basic editing functions here in Kaltura. You can crop the ends. So you'll notice down here, we've got a timeline, right, of different slides. And you see these little yellow handlebars? Okay. You can move them. So you can crop the ends, right? Maybe you have some dead recording airspace from when you started the video or when you ended it. Okay. This little, I'm not really sure what you want to call this little link with the two little bubbles on the end, this allows you to fade in and out of a video. So I think we all remember going to movie theaters once upon a time, right? When you start a video, it gradually gets brighter, right? That's fading in. Or at the end of the video, your screen will gradually go to dark. That's fading out. So you can choose a fade in or out piece. And you get to pick how many seconds you want. And that's all there is to it. Your other option is you can actually crop a center segment of your video. So maybe you stumbled over your words, you sneezed, something took a really long time to process, you just want to get rid of a center segment of your video. That's what the crop is for. Now, I have noticed some people like to try to use this timeline zoom. And I want to caution against not using that. This is actually zooming in on microseconds of a slide. It doesn't fast forward the way you think it does. So instead, if you want to crop a center segment of your video, you're just going to go ahead, you're going to play it, you're going to find wherever you need to pause it. Okay. And we're going to click this little scissor symbol. Now, I do want to tell you to be careful and to look for this yellow-orange bracket. If I hit the trash can right now, everything that's bracketed in this yellow-orange color would be deleted, which we don't want to do, right? So this is kind of the part where I wanted to start a delete. Now I'm gonna push play. And okay, that's where I want to stop it. I want that whole center segment removed. I'm gonna hit the split again. Now it's just this middle piece that I wanted to delete. And I can go ahead and I can click the trash can. That whole center segment has been removed, and I do not need to worry about reconnecting these slides. Kaltura takes care of that automatically. So it is going to play now seamlessly without this center section. Okay. And that's really all there is to the 3 different editing functions that Kaltura has to offer. I have seen a lot of questions come in about whether or not we can add 2 videos together. And unfortunately, no, that is not an option with Kaltura. If you're really bent on trying to merge 2 videos together, send us an email. There are some outside resources that can help you accomplish that task, but it just isn't done through Kaltura. At this point, you have a couple of different options at the top. It's going to ask you to save or to save a copy. And we always recommend, as a best rule of thumb, hit save a copy. You may think you'll never want to go back to the original video, but you would be shocked how often that actually happens. So we always tell everyone, try to save a copy. You'll end up now actually with 2 videos in your library. You're going to have the original one with no edits, and then you're going to have the one where you maybe have cropped off the ends and did all the splice work and the fade in and out. It's going to ask you for a new title. We need to give it a title to differentiate it from the original video. So you can title it whatever you want. It came up with something very, very large and clunky here. Okay, and it says it has been saved in my media library. So, again, I want to caution you to please go ahead and make sure if you want to edit a video, always do this type of editing first before you edit the captions. And I know Dan's coming on next to show us how to edit the captions, but I have discovered through trial and error that if you edit the captions first, and then you edit the video like I just did, you're going to lose all of those captions that you just meticulously edited. So again, if there's anything that you get out of this session, I really want to encourage you to make sure that you edit the video content before the captions. So Dan, was I missing any questions, or are you all set?
There was a couple of questions about embedding the video in the course.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about that? Or
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and I can show you how to embed a video in a course. So it depends a little bit as to whether or not you're embedding this in a original course or an ultra. I think we have enough time that I can show you both. So once you have your video all set and you're ready to put it in your course, you now need to exit Kaltura and you're going to go to your actual class. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to close out of here. I'm going to use my sandbox. It looks and feels like a course, but it's not because there are no students enrolled in here. But we'll give you a good example. So this is an original style classroom, and there's two different ways that you can embed a video. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate to my course content. I can embed a video as a freestanding video, which I do recommend if you have the option because it fills the entire screen. So we do have an increased number of students accessing their Blackboard courses from mobile devices, so anything we can do to enlarge the image for them is definitely a perk. So, okay, I'm just going to click on week 1. I'm going to pretend that I need to add a video in here. Okay. As you can see, actually, I already have a few, but I'm going to build content, and I'm going to scroll all the way down to where it says Kaltura Video. And this takes me to my entire library, and so all I have to do is scroll down and find the correct video. So I clicked Embed, and it's already there. It usually, I want to caution you, will throw it all the way down at the bottom of the module. So here it is. If that's not in the right order, you just hover your mouse, find that purple tab, and I can drag it up. Well, it goes nice and slow, but okay. So there it is. And if you want to know what this looks like from the student point of view, I'm just going to click on this very quickly. And here it is. So the video fills the entire screen. So this is why I do like this option if you can do it that way. The other option is you can embed it within something. So you can embed your video in an assignment, in a quiz, in a discussion board, really anything you can think of in Blackboard. So let's see. That'll work. Okay. So I do have a test here. Actually, that's a bad example. Let me put it in, I'm just going to maybe put it in an item. That might be better. Okay. All right. And this tool will come up, like I said, in anything, a discussion board that you're building, homework, exams, you name it. So just look for this little mashups tool here. And you should find Kaltura Media. It's going to take a moment here to load. Okay, so I'm going to pick another video. Now, it's nice because maybe you have a video clip that you want your students to watch, and then you're going to put it in a discussion board so they can discuss the video. That's the benefit of embedding a video within something in Blackboard, but it does come up smaller on the screen for students, so just be aware of that. Okay. So here it is. This is exactly what the students will see. If I push play, they can watch it. But as you'll see here, it is smaller. They can expand the screen and make it full screen, but not all students know about that control. So just be aware that it plays in a little media window. All right, so that's Blackboard Original. I'll go ahead and I'll show you a Blackboard Ultra classroom as well, just in case some of you are teaching with that this fall. Okay. Here's my Ultra sandbox. So you can see I have some things in here. Kind of the same scenario once you know what controls to click on. So if I want a freestanding video, one of those big ones where it fills the screen, I'll just hover my mouse until I know where I want to put the video. I've got the purple plus symbol here, and I'm actually going to click on the content market. I know it's kind of a strange name. From here, I have all different options, and I know there's a couple of different Kaltura ones. So you've got the media gallery, the video quiz. What you actually want is the Kaltura video. And it's the same thing that we just practiced in the original classroom. Now that I'm here, I get to pick which video I want to embed. All right. There it is. Students would click on it, and it fills the entire screen. Same kind of thing as original. I can again put a video in anything I want, discussion boards, exams, homework, anything you can really think of. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to create something. I'm going to create a document. Right. Yeah, maybe I won't. All right, well, we'll just add content. And we're looking in Ultra for those little plus symbols. So here it is over here. And again, it says insert/edit LTI item. Pretty much the same basic thing. We're going to scroll down here. So we've got our Kaltura video. The only slight difference with this one is in Ultra, it asks if you would like to change the name right now. So I can do that if I wanted. Highly technical name that I've given this. You can click Save. Here it is. Of course, I would make this visible to students in Ultra. And this is what your students would see. Just a smaller screen. Any other demonstrations needed?
There was a couple of questions that came in. One of them I will deal with. Molly's asking about captioning in YouTube, which I will touch on. But before that, let me just scroll over because there was a question by Kanjana. How's it different? Oops, I'm sorry, but my screen just went blank. If you want to look, you'll be able to see Kanjana's.
Sure. Let me hop back into the session.
Oh,
I can
actually,
always.
I'm fine. I'm fine. It just came back up. It's just sort of strange. Kanjana says, how is it this different from creating a video quiz with Kaltura? I think you just showed how you inserted a video in a quiz, and there's that option, a video quiz with Kaltura. What are the pros and cons between the two options, if they're different?
Well, they are different. So a video quiz actually takes any video that is in your Kaltura library, and I was surprised to discover it even works with the YouTube index videos, but you can take any video you want in your library and you'll turn it into a quiz. So the benefit to this is that oftentimes instructors wonder, did my student watch the video? Well, now as they progress through the video, it will automatically stop and pause and it will ask the student a question. And you can actually turn this into a graded activity. So they'll receive points in your Blackboard gradebook or your Blackboard Grade Center for your student submissions. So, it's interactive, it's fun. We have an entire workshop coming up for the Kaltura video quiz. I'll show you how to create it and how to embed it. And that's coming up on August 24th. So it is definitely different than just a plain video. It is an interactive activity for your students. But that's a great question.
Kanjana also asked, so would we be able to do that if we make a video of our PowerPoint presentation?
Anything. Any video that you have in there, you can absolutely, you bet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
I mean, I was just going to say, I know I'm going to switch this off to Dan here, but the nice part about this is sometimes we get a lot of questions asking about video analytics. How can I tell if my student watched a video? And truthfully, with analytics, it doesn't paint a full picture. We can tell maybe if somebody pushed the play button, but we don't know if they were actively engaged with the video material. Maybe they walked away and made dinner. We don't know what our students are always doing, but if you take your video content and you turn it into an interactive quiz, then we know that they watched it. Again, I know I can show you more of those features on the 24th, but for instance, you can prevent students from fast forwarding through the film. So they have to watch all of it, and progress through the questions that you insert just at a regular pace. So lots of good features to it. All right, I'll return to the session. I'll let you take over, Dan.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay. So I'd like to welcome everyone to my portion of the section. There were some questions on captioning, which is great because that's exactly what I was going to be talking about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Let me just see. Here we go. Let's make sure that everyone can see that. Okay. And I'm going to turn off my camera. I'm afraid that there might be some bandwidth issues with me, even though I'm connected with Ethernet connection. All right, so what I'd like to do is talk about the captioning. One of the great features of Kaltura is that it does captions for you. I know it's a pretty remarkable feature. Of course, YouTube also does captioning, but it's not really quite ready for prime time. I think Kaltura, with its own machine capturing, does a far better job, but it's not a perfect job. And I know that a lot of times when people are speaking in their fields, there is something called professional argot. That's a specific terminology or language or terms that are used for a discipline or a field of study. And so sometimes the machine collection of captions will not interpret that fully, and so it'll give some other word that it thinks that you're trying to say. So of course what you want to do is you want to go back and you want to check that out, and if you see some words, maybe even a sentence that maybe isn't quite accurate, you can go back and make the change. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you do that. So we are in Kaltura in My Media. We've gone in through the tools. Okay, this is as opposed to going in through the course. All right, so we've gone into the tools, and I have a clip of a video that was recorded recently. So in order for me to look at the captions, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on the link here, and it's going to take me to that big version of the video, but I'm not going to play it. I'm going to scroll down, And so what I want to do is I want to first of all see if the captions are ready to go. So when I click on actions, I should say, there's a drop-down menu, and one of the options is caption and enrich. All right, so now this video is I think it's a week old. I think I've worked on it a week ago, more than a week ago. Well, let's see, July 28th. Yeah, it's a while back. And so the captioning isn't an automatic process. It doesn't happen. I should say it's not an immediate process. And so what happens is that it takes some time for it to caption, and sometimes it depends on the length of the video and all that, and the complexity. But ultimately, what you'll see is that it will say completed, okay, which is great. That means that you can go up and you'll see the CC here, and if I go to play it, those captions will appear when it starts to play. Here we go. I'm going to jump ahead. Oh, I think I'm picking all the wrong spots. Okay. Well, I'm not sure why that's not playing, but anyway, the CCs will come up. I'll give you another example in a little while. All right. So, what if you are at a point where you want to check to see if those captions are correct? Now, I'll remind you what Megan said. Don't do this. Don't edit captions until after you finish editing the video. You'll lose all those hard-earned captions. So you see this little pencil here, this pencil icon. If you click on the pencil icon, what'll pop up are all of the captions, and you can, as you play with the captions and it goes through it, it'll start to it'll start to play. So I'm not sure whether the audio is. I think I didn't choose the right button on sharing audio. But anyway, you can see it's progressing through that. If I see something that I do not, let's see, can you caption in languages other than English? Let's get back to, we'll hold off on that question until the very end. If you see something you don't want, you can actually go in here and make a change, and so highlight something and make the change to, or you can delete this altogether and retype that in. Okay. So now I don't want to do that. I think this is perfect just the way it is. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit out of here. Okay. So that is how you would edit a caption. Okay. So once again, drop down, captions and enrich. This is something that I don't want to be messing around with. Okay. Okay. So it's already completed. Now, if I had just recorded it and I just uploaded this, what I would do is, what I would see is probably would say pending. And so I couldn't really do anything with it until it actually had this completed portion. All right. Any questions about the captioning for video? Yes. Look right here.
Dan, sorry, I just realized that my microphone was on, so sorry about all the clicking if you heard that.
Oh, that's fine.
Do apologize. Somebody asked if there are other captions available for languages other than English. I asked about this most recently. What I heard is that I know Kaltura has other languages available. I don't believe the feature has been enabled. Also, if NIU does get that capability, I know that you would have to be speaking in that language in order for the captions to appear. So if you wanted Spanish captions, you would have to be speaking in Spanish. But currently, I really don't think that feature has been enabled. If anything changes, I'll let you know.
Thank you, Megan. Nancy asks, you can't delete something you said, just delete it from the captions. Well, you could. You would probably have to go in and do the splice. This is what Megan had talked about. And in that case, if you did the splice and then you saved it as a different file, then you can go in and you can make the change. You can delete that from the caption, but it'd have to be deleted in both places. Okay. So let me just see. Yeah, I know that's that's unfortunately the way it is. English-centered software. All right, but I mean, I think that Megan mentioned that there was an attempt to use a feature that has different languages for captioning. All right, so now somebody asked, what about captioning for YouTube? And I've got a YouTube video here. First of all, I want to mention that a lot of YouTube videos, but not everyone, is already captioned. And so if that's the case, when you bring it into Kaltura, it will already be captioned. But you come upon the rare video that isn't captioned, then you would bring it into to YouTube, just as Megan had showed you how to do it. I'm going to click on there, and because Kaltura has this great feature for captioning, in this case right here, what you would do is you could actually make some changes if you wanted to there. But let me just see here. You'd have the drop-down menu. You'd have caption and enrich once again, and it says that no caption or no requests were found for caption. So what you would do is you would scroll down here and you would say, okay, fine, I'm going to caption this YouTube video. Now I want to caution you, and this is an important caution. So right here, the service is a machine generated captions. That's automatic. That's something which comes as part of the Kaltura service. However, there is an option, if it's a drop-down option, for professional. That is where someone who is coming in to do it live, someone who is reading what's going on and can type up or can transcribe what's being said. That is $1 per minute. And unless your department has deep pockets, you probably will not want to choose that. All right, I just wanted to point that out. So you can add captions to YouTube videos that don't have captions. You can just allow the automatic machine-generated captions that's done. And you probably do not want to use this professional service. That is an expensive service. That is, well, $1 a minute. And if you're talking about an hour, 60 minutes, $60. Okay, well that's fine too. But pedagogically, it probably doesn't make sense to have a 60-minute video anyway, as Megan had mentioned. All right, so now I'm going to back out here. And so, any questions on captioning, or any more questions on captioning? I should mention. Yes, Kanjana, that is a cheap rate. But like I say, sometimes I think the department may have to pay for it. I'm not sure if there's an option for you to pay for it separately. That's outside of my pay range. All right, so let's get to a point where we actually want to make some changes to a video. Okay, I'm going to go back to that same video. This says clip of OCDA live synchronous session. This happened. Actually, this is on Tuesday, I think. So if I want to do that, I want to click here. This is edit. And you'll see this little symbol, a pencil symbol, is almost universal for editing. So if I click on that, now I want to make the distinction between what Megan did, which is to launch the editor and actually make changes to the video clip itself, and what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is not really that much editing the video. It's editing the information attached to the video. And so right here, I can change the name of that. So whatever title you give it, and this is really important, you want to give it a meaningful, significant, easily identifiable topic. So you don't want to label it Lecture 1 and then next week Lecture 2. You might say Lecture 1 and you might look at transmission of pathogens. Something that's really specific so that when students look at this and when you post it, when you embed it in your course, students will see that, and it's something more than Lecture 1. It will say exactly what is this Lecture 1. So that's really, really critical. You can further enhance that by providing a detailed description of what this is. And of course, if you've recorded a lecture or if you just have a welcoming video to the course, or maybe it's a welcoming video to this week's session for week 1, for week 2, then you might want to have a little bit more information right here that talks a little bit more about that. All right, so that is the description. That's something that adds to important information about this particular clip. And then finally, you have tags, and tags are like keywords, so that you sort of identify what is the content of this particular video. Now, it probably doesn't make sense to have a lot of tags when you have this embedded in your course, but if you're going to share this with other departments or your department, or maybe even publish it so that it's public, then it will be easier for people to find your video if you have tags that are very, very accurate, that describe what this video content is all about. So once you make all those changes, you would click on the save button, and then you would go to the media, you would return to your media. All right. So that, once again, not very much in terms of editing the content at all, but editing the information associated with content with a highly descriptive, accurate title or name, and as much information as you feel comfortable describing what the content is, and then finally adding a tag or a keyword that makes it easier for people to find it when they do searches. Okay, so I'm going to go and see if there are any questions regarding this. Let's see. So I know that actually people are talking about Flipgrid, which is another one of my favorite tools, multimedia tools. I'm going to scroll back up so I can see what people are asking questions about Kaltura. Actually, Shannon asked, for students created video content, would you suggest Kaltura or Flipgrid? Once again, it's just a tool. It doesn't care how you use it, but it does matter what is the purpose of using a particular tool. So let me just turn on my webcam. Okay, so you may see my webcam. I have a pen. It's a tool. I can use it for writing great literature. I can use it to write a nasty letter to the editor. I can use it to poke someone. It doesn't care. It doesn't care how it's being used. It's up to you. So now there are better uses for Flipgrid over Kaltura. So for Flipgrid, what I would do is, if I want to have students interact with each other, and so I'll have students, and much in the same way as we had in our TEI organizational course, where we ask people to participate. So you can say, I'm going to introduce myself. This is me. This is who I am. And so I'm part of this organization, part of this community, part of this course. Somebody else could be posting their own introduction, and they see that, oh, they listened to your introduction, and they see that you graduated from Burr Ridge High in 2018, and they might say, hey, I graduated this past year. So you immediately establish some sort of a bond, an establishment of a presence, or the development of a sense of community. So that's that back and forth value of Flipgrid, and I will use it again this semester. However, there's going to be maybe a time for me to wanting to share content with my students, and I might use Kaltura instead, just to create a lecture and share that. All right. We're almost out of time here. Let me just see if any more questions. Okay, a lot of questions on Flipgrid. We should be having workshops on Flipgrid this coming year. Yvonne says, join the Flipgrid collaboration and Blackboard organization. That's what I was talking about later. Just add your information. Just say, hey, this is me. This is what I do. This is what, maybe something interesting that happened in 2020. Maybe an interesting fact about you. All right. So that's a great use of that technology. All right. I'm not seeing any questions about Kaltura. So I will hand it off back to Megan.
Well, thank you, Dan. I just remembered right now off the top of my head, previously somebody had asked us if there are folders that you can use in your Kaltura library to organize your video content, because you will be surprised how quickly it accrues. All of a sudden, you're just wading through, 50 videos. Sometimes they're just test videos, but you like having them in there just for practice. So that's where the tags come in handy. Let me share my screen with you really briefly here. Maybe. Okay, there we go. So if we go back to Kaltura here, there is a search bar at the top, and you can search for your media, and it's going to pick up pretty much any word associated with your video. It'll pick up anything that's in the title. If you put a tag in there, you can search by tag, or even if it's a word that you commonly say in your video, it'll pull it up in the search. So It's really handy, since there are no folders, to try to remember to tag your videos with your course code, because you're going to save a bunch of time searching that way. So that was just my little tip that I have discovered. I'm going to hop back into the session. I do have a slide that I wanted to share with you. We also have a website that is devoted to Kaltura. It has all sorts of shooting on there, different scenarios. So I just wanted to pull that up for you. Let's see. There it is. So this is our Kaltura website. I think you will find a lot of your answers on here, but of course we're also valuable resources, so don't hesitate to call or email the CITL team. But you can go to niu.edu/Kaltura. And some of the things that they even have on here are instructions for students. You are not responsible for training your students on how to use Kaltura. There are written instructions, which really are pretty easy to follow. And there's a separate set for faculty, and then there's a separate set for students. So you can just share the instructions with your students, and they'll learn how to set up their own videos that way.